December 13th, 2023. It's been a lot the last few days with working two jobs and then dealing with the different things that happen and people saying stuff. Sometimes it just gets a lot. Uh, Monday, just 2 days ago, I was in Aspen Dental Alliance. One of the officers from the case showed up, okay? He was talking to somebody in Aspen Dental, said, "We all feel bad. We found out how that agent talked to her. We all knew he left her up there. And we found out he didn't pay her. He had to do all this just to steal from her." Okay. Tuesday, I'm on 30th Street in Canton at a hairdresser, okay, with one of my clients. Some investigators are driving around and around. One of them's talking real loud to somebody in the car. It is what's going on. That idiot is stealing from her. That is what's going on. Well, December 2nd, 22, Wendy's Alliance, one of the officers that watched me, I was with my day program. He comes in with another guy, and he said, "Is that the one that church tried to have killed?" He said, "Yes." He said, "I heard she didn't get any money on this." He said, "No." He said, "It's the one guy from the case stealing every dime for himself since the first day, or every dime of the case since the first day." Okay. All right. They have been telling people since December of 22 it's just them stealing from the case. See, if you go see where that agent was so rude to me on the phone. With his admission of talking to Pete. Now we'll go through the big 4 attempts of my life. Bad people showing up, everybody's threatening my life again. I called the FBI, and then they dragged me up so I couldn't get up, and then I called Sarah. She said she'd witnessed. I bought her card, put that agent's number in, where they drugged me up after I called the FBI for 3 days. I couldn't even get out of bed. And then I make an excuse to go down the mall, and her manager puts it in her locker, and then we go up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. He's there. Paul Paymer got in Dave's face. My God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. I walk off, and he's screaming at him, "How dare you bring the FBI up here with threats on her life?" Women walk up to me. He knows she's being drugged, being raped, and he said he didn't care. Well, I have bruises, giant ones, all over me. I've been throwing up, dizzy, heart racing, almost passing out in front of people, and a severe swollen personal infection. Okay? And I've been seen by all my family physicians all summer long, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Because amnesia drugs, you don't remember. Okay? And they've had those since 1960s. Think of the hippies tripping out on LSD, and then the cults grabbing people and brainwashing them with amnesia drugs. It was really big in the 60s. They've been around for over 60 years. Okay, and they've refined them over 60 years. Okay? And so My heart sank down in my stomach. Is that what's going on? Because I told all my family physicians, I don't know what's wrong with me. Did you fall? No, because I got all these bruises. Everybody has seen them. They're everywhere. And they have known I was almost passing out, dizzy, heart racing at times. And it kept happening. I lost 18 pounds before I called the FBI. Okay? So, I walk in and I sit down in the sanctuary. They come in and they say it again. And then they said, well, he said if she was going to be thinking she was sick and thinking she got well, that family was grieving. He didn't care what they did to her. And he was going to turn her back over to him. And can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in. Let's go. Now, it is verified by officers. It was the agent that called me back. My ex-husband, Dave, told our son, Danny, that he's seen him and he talked to him. Okay? All right. Dave comes in, let's go, and he threatens to kill me on the way home, swinging at me in the truck till I almost jumped out on the highway. Got home, ran from him. Next day, I'm crying rivers of tears. I'm scared out of my mind. I've had 4 attempts, and now they're here. Okay? I should have been hit on the first day, and they should have been arrested. I call him in. I tell him that someone told on me. He called me a liar. Now it's verified it was him. He didn't want the name of the church. He didn't want the phone number of how would they find out. Right? It was him. Okay? I told him that the guy that threatened to knife me, was there a camera by the bench? I don't know. Dear God, I almost passed out. I was dizzy when I sat down. I had to catch my breath and then turn my car in the bank. And I got in front of somebody. I figure if I ran for it, he'd chase me down like across the parking lot. I said, well, you tried to kidnap me before. He calls me a liar. Now, I am describing a known serial killer, the kidnapper for the human traffickers in this area. I'm describing him. The authorities know what he looks like. Found out that later. And he's calling me a liar. Terry let me tape her with her permission. She's seen him trying to kidnap me. Okay? It already killed Lori's family member. Okay? And he's screaming about some damn camera above the bench. I don't know. You say you're lying or I'll put you in jail. You hear me? Now, was there a camera above that bench or not? I don't know. You say you're lying or I'll arrest you. It's like, fine, whatever. Then he bullies me into more false statements and starts laughing at me. On a recorded line. There's battery laws. Obstruction of justice, tampering with witnesses and evidence. That's exactly what he did. Let a serial killer go. Why would the FBI help a person like you? They're going to kill me. So? They have tried to kill me. So? Guy yells out, we could always use Pete's tape a weird with yourself. It's a shower scene. I don't even know who Pete is. I still never talked to him. I only know who he is because this little white Santa Claus is following me around stores, okay, after the case started. And his picture was on the wall 9/18/19, the day of my divorce. And I thought, that looks like that guy that's been following me. It says Peter and I forget what. Go in the back, he's joking around with Judge Timothy Ludick. Okay? The judge over my divorce. They're friends. Okay? And I talked to Seth Lee Mullins, an attorney up there. She said if his picture was on the wall, he's been retired a long time. Okay? Well, I didn't know who he was till that day. He was just some weirdo following me around. Okay? I don't even know who Pete is. I don't know what he's talking about. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. And the guy yells out, well, we could use Pete's this. Well, it's a direct confession. I've never talked to him. I've never met him. I don't even know who Pete is. And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He starts giggling. She don't know what you're talking about. Or she doesn't know. She doesn't know. That's how he put it. She doesn't know, and started giggling. Okay? They're laughing at me for the idiot that's stalking me, breaking in, drugging me, lying at sodium pentothal reports, and leaving me bruised and infected, and was human trafficking me out of that house. And Dave was still touching me, so I wouldn't realize I was being drugged, beaten, raped. And I kept thinking, if that idiot is speeding on me, why am I not waking up? Okay? So, he's like, why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, then they're going to try to kill me. So, and, he said, I said, well, they've tried to kill me. So, and then they do that thing with Pete. And I don't know who he is. I don't even know anything what they're talking about. Okay? And I said, I don't know what you're talking about. He started giggling and stopped. She don't know. They're laughing at some man stalking me. And had been coming in and beating, raping me. And they're making fun of a human trafficking victim that's being scammed on a recorded line. With their admission of Pete and knowing I'm being stalked and framed, they've been in contact with Dave. Dave took my ex-husband, told our son Danny he hired Pete on his own, who's Pete, his girlfriend's dad, and his drug friends. Okay? That's who he hired, the drug cartel. Okay? And they're laughing at me. Give me a real reason. While my brother-in-law was a private consultant for the FBI, unrestricted at war weapons, worked under Dick Cheney, and traveled the world. That makes him CIA. Gave him his name when he died. He said, well, I tell you what, I could move you out somewhere, but I'll just take you and leave you there. You sign off everything. You won't have any money. I said, I don't have any money saved up. I'll be homeless. Well, I guess I could list you an informant. He said it comes with $5,000 a month. He said an open account today. He said, and you'll have that to live on when you move out. You get me information on Dave and the churches. Okay? He said, and I'll make sure no man touches you. He said, and I'll pull you out if it gets too bad. And nothing legally dated against you again for working this case. And we'll always put it back as if it never happened, even when you're telling you have that money to live on. Okay? And then he flip-flopped and threatened me if I told. I told my friend from the Stark County Prosecutor's Office. He started laughing until I almost cried. He said the police know they could never go along with it. The only thing that agent did legal was list you informant with money. No sitting judge would ever assign a court order taking somebody's freedom of speech away. The Department of Justice had put him in jail. He said because only a sitting judge can only put a gag order on you during sequester, jury, or grand jury, and only till the trial's over because of the freedom of speech. He said that agent was only bullying you to stay quiet. He don't even have that kind of authority to ask you to stay quiet. He's only a higher law enforcement. He's only a higher cop. He was only bullying you. He said, and as far as him bullying you into false statements, the police know they can't go along with that either. And he said, and as far as the FBI, the Department of Justice will put them in jail if they ever try to drop you. He said, because once the government agrees to protect you, they cannot unprotect you. He said they can hire someone else to kill you. And he said, and you are to get your money for the rest of your life if you work 5 minutes of a case, an hour of a case, because you risk your life getting the government information and they owe you. And he said, and they have to protect you so they can't kill you for that. And they cannot ever legally drop you. The Department of Justice will put them in jail. They can put you in another witness protection program, but they have to talk to you first. And I said, well, they already knew. Okay? He said, it don't matter. You can tell whoever you want. They can't open their mouths to you. He was only bullying you. You don't have that kind of authority. Okay? With his acknowledgement of Pete, he had already talked to Dave. Dave told Danny hire Pete on his own. His girlfriend's had to frame me. People in Walmart last week were talking. We all know that Pete and Michelle took the kill money. And instead of killing her, they framed her. And they did this. They're the ones that actually got the kill money. Okay? They have made fun of FBI Agent John. June 7th, 23, Walmart 62, Lighthouse Tabernacle, 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. FBI Agent John actually fell for the stunt of tapes before? Oh, come on now. It was only a stunt. You're kidding. You mean John actually fell for stunt of tapes before? Is that what's going on? Oh, come on. Is that what's going on? FBI Agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before? Ha 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 ha. Is that why they got away with it? 'Cause FBI Agent John fell for the stunt of tapes before? Ha 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 ha. Okay. November 18th, 22, Walmart 62. One of the drug dealers, Eric, comes in. By the hair salon, 2 to 6 p.m. They still have the tapes. I talked to them. They keep them for years. And they tape an audio in every aisle. He comes in while I'm in the hair salon. All the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it. My idea to do it. My idea to say it. For all these people turned on and they actually fell for it. And the guy, he's like, ha, 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 ha. He's like, if there's only you, I could take care of it. I know it's that bad, and I still fell for it. November 24th, 22, at Mercy Medical, the nurse taking care of me to the Lady Canton officer. We all heard that Eric make fun of us for falling for this. Nobody better say a word to her again. Okay? And the lady officer said, well, you'd know the agent that bullied her into saying she was lying when she wasn't. Okay? He opened my case under fraud. It was a nationwide drug trafficking and human trafficking scam. The drug dealers and the drug cartels came together and ran the biggest scam in the world. That agent opened a case with my statement, had an officer talk to Dave, and Karen around the house started the next day. The Stark County Sheriffs have admitted to working at Massillon Police, North Canton Police, and Hartville Police have even mentioned it when I went up there at the informants here. Okay? See, that's where he opened a real case with statements, and he just let it run. September 3rd, I have an hour in between my two jobs. I go to Speedway on Middle Branch in Canton. I go in and one of the old drug dealers from Canton come in. And he's about 2 or 3 people behind me with an old lady. He's trying to blame the police up there. The police did it to her before, and I made sure she wouldn't get no money out of this. Okay? And I'm turning around and everybody's looking at him. I go out and I get my gas and I go over across the street to Rite Aid. I go and I let my tapes play in my car. And I get some candy and some soda and talk to the pharmacist for a minute. And I leave, and I thought, where did a lot of the harassers go? Well, I go pick up my client, and she wanted to go back to that same Rite Aid, the one on Middle Branch Road. Okay? It still had this. About 4:15. Lady pulls in the drive-thru. You can hear it echo into the store. By then, there's only like 3 or 4 cars. I'm like, where'd my harassers go? Okay? It's echoing into the store, them talking in the car. While they're talking to the lady in the drive-thru of the pharmacy. While we're inside. and we're at the pharmacy counter, okay? Said everybody's seen that drug dealer from Ravenna say something to her, and nobody thought it was funny that he showed up here. Well, no, because they're human traffickers. What are human traffickers? Serial killers. Okay, I get my client. We go down to Bubba's restaurant. And we go in and we sit down, and a group of men are at the other table. I'm going to say something to her. I thought, oh, hell you will. Oh, hell you will. No, you won't. So I look at her and I said, do you know I work like 68, 70 hours this week? She's like, oh, that's a lot, or oh. And I said, and on top of it, I had to deal with my crazy ex-husband with his drug addict girlfriend and her friends harassing me for her being such a freak and setting up button cameras while we were out, having them kicking my door, stalking me. And the guy looks over and like turns his head. And I said, she, being a sick stun of putting a shower scene and washing in the other room and laughing at me that they did it and confessed. I said, and where I woke up with bruises all over me and throwing up, almost passing out. They're supposed to roofie me and told me to say I was a weirdo. And then how they made fun of FBI agent John in Walmart 62 cackling. The guy turns his head like this and said, I'm so glad I didn't say a word to her. I go out in some of the bad trucks, swarm around the building. We go over to Target. We go to use the bathroom when the officers that watch me show up. We all know one of those drug dealers from Ravenna showed up. I'll keep an eye on her. Well, we go over to Kohl's. We go to leave. Michelle's out in the parking lot. And one of her friends. And she said, I seen her out today. These people better not be saying stuff to her. That idiot already confessed he photoshopped everything. The other girl's like, well, she's some kind of nurse. She said, I know. And that idiot already confessed he photoshopped everything before on her. They better not say, these people better not be saying a word to her ever again, or again. And the girl said, well, you told all these people you wanted everything, so they made it happen. Like she's some kind of mafia god. It was, up in Akron last Thursday, some construction workers were across the street. It was a mean teenage stunt what they did to her. Roofing her and telling her to say stuff like that and then photoshopping that shower scene. Basically, that's what they were calling a mean teenage stunt. They said what makes it sick and wrong is they raped her. What makes it sick and wrong, they were beating me and roofing me. They didn't have a right to do that or to take videos of me naked and photoshopping. Thinking they're funny. It is a mean teenage stunt. If you think about back, I was talking to one of my neighbors. I said, "Do you ever watch 2020?" He said, "Oh yeah, years ago." I said, "Do you remember a couple college episodes where they were stalking people in their apartment?" He's like, "Yeah." And they would Photoshop shower scenes in the other room and put it up on the net, and people would haze them, and some kid even killed himself. I said, "Yeah, I remember something like that." And I said, do you remember where they roofied some girl, had her say some stuff, then took her home, a bunch of guys gang raped her? And then, because her boyfriend was in sorority, told him to go over and have sex with her so she wouldn't realize what happened to her. And they took pictures of him doing it, and they showed it to the wrong person, and they called the police on him. They all went to jail. He said, I remember sororities doing stuff like that. He said it was a mean teenage stunt, but it was a very sick one. I was talking to one of my clients on Monday about this, and she said, do you realize how mentally ill that Michelle is? For her to even want them to take videos of you, let alone photoshopping that? I said, do you realize how embarrassing that would actually be if it would have really happened? She said, even for her to even want to watch you makes her mentally ill, let alone doing that. Let alone have people break in and drug and beat you like that and drug you up and tell you to say stuff. How mentally ill is she to do any of that? They should have been arrested the first day for RICO charges. July 9th, 23, I'm in Trinity Gospel. The women right behind me are admitting to selling the log into the case and making a ton of money. They make fun of retired Judge Pete. We heard there's a retired Judge Pete in her home before. He didn't have no authority to be in her home before. He's going to go down for this, and we made a ton of money. They sold federal information. Okay? And the FBI wouldn't dare fix this. They sold videos of it. Well, after September 3rd, 23, up in Hartville the next day, women were outside Dairy Queen. We seen that tape of that Michelle even admitting they photoshopped everything. That John better fix it, this. And then last week in Walmart, out in the parking lot, people were talking. We've seen that video of that Michelle even admitting they photoshopped everything. And then other people coming in, some ladies in Walmart last week. They broke up a long time ago. What are they doing? Well, we found out they're human trafficking people. Come on. That means serial killing. You do realize that. What is a human trafficker? They grab women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered. What do they last? A week, 2, a month, if they're lucky. And then they're being raped and tortured by perverts, and then they kill them and they have to steal more. Like my friend that worked at a prosecutor's office. It's $1 billion business. Do you know why they're selling the login? So, and telling people to show up and make fun of me? Because they want to pick them off. They don't have to go out and look for them. They show up to harass me, and they get to scout out which one they want. And then they can go get them later. They're inviting these people to their own deaths. March 1st to 3rd of 23, Walmart 62 in a recorded aisle, nail polish. Some lady walked by, I don't want anything to do with this. I found out they're using that case to human traffic people. Looked up and it said recording. Now, I have already went through the times and dates where they said they put clips together, put her in a porn, it's not her, it's them, and then what you're describing as showering. Then ha ha ha, she figured out what they did. Like May 12th, 22, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room from even May 25th, 21 of the church people breaking in before drugging me, telling me to say weirdo molester stuff. That's not funny. And then Dave's, one of his other girlfriends, a big fat blonde girl in a blue car. Even my neighbors have seen her down here driving around the block. She was on Fairlawn Street that Friday, Saturday, or Sunday after May 25th, 21, yelling at the drug dealers from Ravenna, "Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession." Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her what to say before. It was echoing clear on to North Chapel, and they sold the login, so everybody had it. And then the people ratting out Dave being involved. And then doing police reports in 21 to edit the Oakland apartment, the guy at the task force to my client on Chapel Church Road, to the guy at Department of Disability, to the guy in Burlington Coat Factory of being drugged and framed before, and then admitting to framing me March 24, 22. And they have publicly mocked FBI. They have publicly mocked these people. June 30th, 23, men were talking how that Eric makes fun of everybody at parties, how he made fools out of all these people for helping out. The drug cartel and retired Judge Pete want people to think that they're not safe anywhere, that there's no right to privacy in your own home. There's a Fourth Amendment. Nobody can be in your home. All the cops will tell you what these people did is illegal, and they can't look or listen. It's the Fourth Amendment. That nobody had a right in your home. The drug cartel and some retired judge for his baby girl cannot break in people's home and frame the wife and drug her up. And so that they can extort money. You can't touch anything with a conflict of interest, let alone a retired judge has no authority. He ran a big drug scam here, him and his daughter, and had all those drug cartels from the Kingsmen from Texas to California, to the gang from Buffalo, New York, to Michigan, to Florida, and a bunch of other states came together and ran a big drug scam and human trafficking people. Thousands of people have died. And because they pick people off one by one by one, and you see it on the internet or news, and because they're not mass killing them all at once, they're aware they're there, but nobody seems irate. 1,072 children between January and May got taken from Ohio alone this year. not counting the thousands from the year before. That's not counting women. That's only children. That's where they're coming up with the money to pay these people to harass me and follow me around. They're taking blood money. Some child had to die and be sold to a pervert. You have the Fourth Amendment over the house, the right of the people to be safe and secure within your own person, your places, your papers, in effects against all unreasonable searches or seizures. So it shall not be violated. Your home can't be violated. So where would a retired judge for his baby girl violate you? He can't. He goes to jail for RICO charges. That's how fast he should have been arrested. No searches, no seizures without probable cause. Warranted. You have to have a court order. Dave told Danny he hired a Pete on his own. Okay? You can't hire a man to frame your wife. Like they said, that idiot can't hire a stalker. They're considered Peking Tom takes voyeurism. The adults that actually break in and stalk people in their home end up are like Ted Bundy, a bunch of other. They said they can't control their lust. They go into raping those women, and then they go on to killing them. They turn into serial killers. That's what human traffickers are. Human traffickers take women and children for sex slaves and to be murdered. We put the worst, vile criminals a nice name on it instead of calling them serial killers for who they are. They're serial killers. That agent opened a real case with statements and money and immunity, and he stole every dime and fed me to the drug cartel and left me up there to die. That's where those officers, they all feel bad. They're realizing what he did. He opened a real case. I'm going to go ahead and upload this.